What if I told you that right now, sitting in your investment account, you might already have enough money to never contribute another dollar to retirement again? Not because you hit $1 million, not because you got a windfall, but because of a mathematical concept that most financial advisors never talk about. And when I ran the actual numbers comparing it to the traditional path, the results genuinely surprised me. So today, we are going to break down Coast Fire versus traditional fire, walk through the real math step by step, and figure out which one actually wins for your life. Stick around, because the answer is not what you expect. Let me set the stage. Traditional fire, financial independence, retire early, is built on a simple but brutal premise. You pick a giant retirement number, something like $1.5 or $2 million, and you grind aggressively to reach it as fast as humanly possible. You save 50% of your income, you cut every expense that feels unnecessary, and you sprint toward that finish line. The logic is straightforward. Hit the number, stop working, live your life. And for a lot of people, that model feels motivating at first, but somewhere around year 3 or 4, the burnout sets in. Because you are sacrificing your 30s, your 40s, your best physical years, for a future version of yourself who may or may not thank you for it. Coast Fire operates on completely different logic. Instead of asking how fast can I reach my full retirement number, it asks a better question. How much do I need invested right now, so that compound growth does all the remaining heavy lifting without me adding another cent? The finish line is not a dollar amount you race toward. The finish line is a date, and the vehicle that carries you there is time itself. Here is the core math, and I want you to actually follow this because it changes everything. Let us say you want to spend $50,000 a year in retirement. Using the standard 4% withdrawal rule, you multiply that $50,000 by 25, which gives you a retirement target of $1.25 million. That is your traditional fire number. That is the full mountain traditional advice tells you to climb. Now here is where Coast Fire flips the script. Instead of calculating forward, we calculate backward. We ask a present value question. How much money do you need invested today so that it grows into $1.25 million by the time you turn 65, without you ever adding to it again? The formula uses compound interest in reverse. You take your future target and divide it by 1 plus your assumed return rate, raised to the power of years remaining. Let us use a 40-year-old as our example. You have 25 years until 65. The stock market historically returns around 10% annually. But after accounting for inflation, the real return sits closer to 7%. So we use 7. 1.07 raised to the 25th power gives us a growth multiple of roughly 5.4. That means every dollar invested at 40 becomes $5.40 by 65. So we take 1.25 million and divide by 5.4. The result? Approximately $275,000. If you are 40 years old and you have roughly $275,000 invested in a diversified portfolio, you have hit Coast Fire. You are done. The compounding engine is already running and you do not need to add fuel. Now, if you want to be more conservative and assume only 5% real returns, that same calculation puts your Coast number closer to $370,000. So the realistic range for a 40-year-old targeting a middle-class retirement is somewhere between $275,000 and $375,000. That is dramatically less than the full $1.25 million. That gap represents years of your life. You get back. And here is where the age multiplier becomes genuinely mind-bending. At 40, with 25 years of growth, every dollar multiplies by about 5.4. At 30, with 35 years of runway, the multiplier jumps above 10. At 25, with 40 years, it reaches roughly 15. That means a 25-year-old only needs around $85,000 invested to coast to that same $1.25 million retirement target. If you hustle hard in your early 20s and stack $85,000 by age 25, you could theoretically never save another dollar for retirement and still arrive at 65 fully funded. The power of front-loading your savings in your youth is almost incomprehensible when you see those numbers written out. So who wins between these two strategies? Honestly, it depends entirely on what you are optimizing for. Traditional fire, Wins if your number one priority is speed. If you want to stop working completely as early as possible, age 40 or earlier. It is a sprint that demands extreme sacrifice, but the finish line means total freedom from employment sooner. CoastFire wins if your priority is quality of life during the journey. The moment you hit your Coast number, your paycheck becomes entirely yours again. If you were earning $80,000 a year and socking away $20,000 for retirement, that $20,000 is suddenly unlocked. You could drop to a $60,000 a year job with less stress. You could take a sabbatical. You could start a business with lower pressure. You are no longer building your retirement fund. You are simply living while your existing portfolio quietly grows in the background. And here is a critical insight. Most people doing traditional FIRE are dramatically overshooting without realizing it. I have seen people grinding for 15 years past their Coast number because nobody told them the compounding had already taken over. They kept filling a tank that was already full, sacrificing experiences and relationships for additional cushion they will never need. Now, before you fire off your resignation letter tomorrow, there is one massive risk you need to understand. Lifestyle creep. CoastFire only works if your retirement spending estimate stays relatively accurate. If you decide at age 50 that you actually want to travel business class and own a beach house, your $50,000 annual spending estimate becomes $80,000, your FIRE number jumps to $2 million, and your Coast number at 40 suddenly looks dangerously small. CoastFire requires knowing yourself. It demands a firm and honest ceiling on your desired lifestyle. If you cannot commit to a spending range, you cannot safely commit to coasting. Speaking of having a clear, personalized plan for your financial future, this is exactly where having expert guidance changes everything. If you are serious about calculating your own Coast number, building an actual roadmap toward financial freedom, and not just watching videos hoping something sticks, I want to tell you about the Wealth Accelerator Academy. It is a group coaching program and course designed specifically to help people like you build a real, executable plan toward financial independence. Whether you are closer to the CoastFire path or the traditional FIRE sprint, having a structured system and a community of people doing the work alongside you accelerates everything. The link is in the description below. Let me bring this home with a real-world example. Picture someone at 40 with $300,000 invested. They hate their corporate career but love woodworking. Under traditional rules, they feel stuck because $300,000 is nowhere near their full retirement number. But under CoastFire math, with a target of $1.25 million and a Coast number of $275,000, they are actually overfunded by $25,000. That buffer handles the uncertainty, gives them a margin of safety against a bad market year, and the core math still holds. They can walk away from the corporate grind tomorrow, pick up the craft career that barely covers their monthly expenses, and statistically arrive at 65 with their retirement fully intact. They just do not know it yet. That is not a financial win. That is a life-changing realization. The emotional challenge nobody warns you about with CoastFire is that watching your contribution rate go to zero feels psychologically wrong. We are trained to equate active saving with responsibility. When you stop contributing and your balance only moves with market returns, it can feel like failure even when the math says you have already won. Trusting the formula requires genuine mental discipline. You have to redefine what financial success looks like, because it no longer shows up as a growing deposit number every month. So here is the real answer to which strategy wins. The math does not crown a single champion. Traditional FIRE wins on pure speed to total freedom. CoastFire wins on total life quality across the entire journey. The question is not which one is objectively better. The question is which one fits the life you actually want to live right now, not the life you imagine living 30 years from today. Calculate your Coast number. Multiply your expected retirement spending by 25 to get your target. Then divide that target by your growth multiplier based on your age and assumed returns. Write that number down. If you are already there or close, everything changes. And if you want a guided system to do this calculation properly, build out your full wealth strategy and have coaches and a community helping you stay accountable every step of the way. Check out the Wealth Accelerator Academy using the link in the description. It exists specifically for people who are done guessing and ready to actually build a structured path to financial freedom. Drop your COAST number in the comments below. Not your net worth, just your target. Let everyone see the real range people are working with. Hit the like button if this breakdown shifted your perspective, and subscribe because we run these kinds of deep dive number sessions regularly. See you in the next one.